there are few types of games as ambitious as those set in open worlds. Whether a multiplayer sandbox, massive multiplayer RPG, or an elaborate single-player exploration game, the amount of work involved in creating these environments and games is daunting. Before we begin, be sure to subscribe to MojoPlays and click on the links in the description to vote on upcoming content. Companies like CD Projekt Red, Rockstar Games, and of course the kings of open world adventures, Bethesda, have spent a lifetime learning how to deal with all of the complexities and difficulties that go into giving the player the go anywhere, do anything freedom that comes with an open world experience. Many developers simply don't try or give up halfway through, as was the case with Deep Silver's laughably bad 2013 game, Ride to Hell Retribution, which began development as an open world but was released as a story-driven linear adventure instead. When setting out to find the worst open world game of all time, finding the games that were simply bad because they were buggy or poorly executed wasn't enough. Open world games are almost always a little janky or buggy, or the story isn't always well developed, or the gameplay isn't tight, but those concessions are often made deliberately in order to make the game more broad than it is deep.
Go!
Exploration is at its best in an open world game, so if that's what the player is looking for, they're willing to put up with a little roughness around the edges. On release, Bethesda RPGs are often broken games you can play, but I still love them to death. There are, of course, only so many corners that can be cut before the end product no longer can really be counted as a game. And Reality Pump Studios' 2015 open-world pirate adventure, Raven's Cry, is honestly one of the most inexcusable messes we've ever seen.
Jerk him up, but not too much, not too fast, no, just a touch. Get a maid to jerk him up early in the morning.
A bad game is a bad game, but a bad open-world game is an unintentional nightmare. Keep in mind, this game came out over a year after Ubisoft's fantastic Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag. So at this point, a modern pirate game where you can quest, explore, sword fight, and sail the seas had already been done. So, it can be done. One can only assume that some of the developers of Raven's Cry said to themselves, okay, so to make ourselves stand out, let's do all the things Black Flag did badly. As badly as possible.
Depravity and filth everywhere you look.
Everything that could have gone wrong with this title definitely went sideways in the worst possible way. Absolutely nothing here is worthy of praise, and basically every aspect of the game that almost got a pass has some other part of it that throws it overboard. For example, the graphics, for the most part, look pretty good, with the main characters' models and textures looking kind of fantastic actually, but then the animations are a total mess. Not only is there no transition between attacks, death, movement, etc., but the animations that do exist look kinda ancient. Sword fights? Well, get ready to mash some buttons and hope for the best. The naval combat, on the other hand, is shockingly functional. But you actually never want to get into a fight because the game keeps throwing more powerful ships against you. Seriously, you can't even enjoy the least broken aspect of the game because almost every naval battle is either a suicide mission or just running for your frickin' life. All of this is easy to demonstrate as just seeing this game in action illustrates these flaws. The player character, along with every other NPC in the game, is totally disconnected from the world. Everything just kind of floats around like they're in some kind of testing environment. And that is probably the biggest giveaway to the fundamental reason that this game is bad. It just feels like an unfinished game pretending to be a complete product.
Put him in the boat and get him rowing with young Sheila. She will blow him while he's rowing. She'll be blowing early in the morning.
Eventually re-released almost a year later as Vendetta, Curse of Raven's Cry, the updated version failed to course correct. And the new additions like updated voiceover and new weapons were just subtle coats of paint on an unsalvageable shipwreck. It's also worth mentioning that the updated version was actually pulled from Steam for half a year for unconfirmed reasons, but many believe the culprit to be fake positive reviews added by the game's publishers themselves. Nice. The publisher has never explained why, but what else can you expect from f***ing pirates? Whoa, I don't know where that came from.
You mean he's actually pissing on his own men?
Aye. Says the golden rum toughens their hides.
Are there worse games out there? Of course, but few games fail so spectacularly as Raven's Cry. Most bad games have one or two big things you can point at. Something like the facial animations are a joke or the ending was terrible. But Raven's Cry messes up basically everything you can examine. There's really nothing here to enjoy. Nothing here whatsoever gives players a reason to pick it up and start playing. It succeeds at nothing, not a single element in this game works, and in an open world, that means a relentless onslaught of broken systems that you're being bombarded with. Unlike most other real games, there's no way for a player to just focus on the one or two things they like that, for them, make the game worth playing. We'd love to make this game walk the plank, but we actually don't have one of those because of budget cuts. So we're simply going to crown it the worst open world game of all time.
Robbie sticking black and powder, then soak that thing in old clam chowder. He'll be squealing all the louder early in the morning.
What do you guys think? Let us know in the comments if you agree or disagree, and what do you think is the worst open world game you've ever played? For more insightful and, we hope, less mean-spirited commentary, be sure to subscribe to MojoPlays.
Will I sail with the devil? No, never, no more.
Be sure to subscribe and click on the link in the description below to check out our suggestion page and vote on what content you'd like to see us cover next.